Ethan Caldwell paced nervously in the glass-walled boardroom, the city skyline casting long shadows as dusk settled. His company, once a promising startup, faced a sudden collapse. Investors whispered doubts, while his longtime partner Mark Jensen avoided his gaze. "I never imagined it would come to this," Ethan muttered. Emily Harper, his loyal confidant, clenched her fists. "We can rebuild, Ethan. One idea could change everything." Tension thickened as the phone rang, an anonymous tip revealing sabotage from a rival company. Heart pounding. Ethan realized the stakes were far higher than ever before. Ethan sank into his chair, exhaustion etched across his face. The boardroom felt colder now, stripped of hope. Emily placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "This isn't the end, Ethan. Every empire has its trial." The betrayal stung more than the financial loss. Mark's silence weighed heavily. Ethan's mind raced with ideas that could save the company, or destroy it further. In the distance, the city lights flickered like opportunities, so close yet daunting. Ethan knew he had to act, but uncertainty gnawed at every thought, shaking his confidence to its core. The night deepened outside and Ethan's office became a sanctuary of thought. Emily suggested, "What if we pivot? Find a niche they didn't anticipate?" Ethan rubbed his temples. The thought of outsmarting competitors sparked a flicker of determination. Mark finally spoke, reluctantly. "We need a radical idea, or this is over." Ethan leaned forward, pulse quickening. Every option seemed perilous. Yet, in that fear, a spark of possibility ignited, a daring strategy that might redefine the company's future. If only they dared to risk everything. Ethan paced the dimly lit office, hands running through his hair. The city outside sparkled indifferently. Emily's voice cut through the silence. "We can turn this around. But you must lead, Ethan." Doubts gnawed at him, memories of past failures clashing with ambition. Mark's wary gaze reminded him that trust was fragile. Ethan inhaled sharply, the weight of responsibility pressing on his chest. Yet, in the quiet storm of uncertainty, a seed of clarity emerged. One bold move could shift everything, and he was ready to take it, no matter the risk. The dawn hinted at the skyline as Ethan stood by the window, Emily beside him, the boardroom now quiet. Mark's eyes lingered on the skyline, realization dawning. Ethan whispered, "It's time to fight back." Emily smiled faintly, hope mingling with exhaustion. The plan was unclear, the path treacherous, but determination burned in Ethan's chest. Whatever sabotage awaited, whatever rivals plotted, he would rise from this ruin. Today marked the beginning of a journey that would test courage, creativity, and trust, shaping not just a company, but the people who dared to dream beyond the shadows. Ethan Caldwell arrived at a dimly lit warehouse on the outskirts of the city, tension pulsing through his veins. Emily Harper followed closely, her eyes scanning every corner. "This is where we start," Ethan said quietly. Maps and laptops were spread across the steel table, outlining a bold strategy to reclaim their company. Mark Jensen hesitated at the entrance, shadows masking his conflicted face. The hum of fluorescent lights mixed with the distant rumble of traffic, amplifying the sense of secrecy. Every step forward felt like a gamble, but the trio understood one truth. Without risk, there would be no victory. The team huddled over the laptops, charts and projections reflecting in their eyes. Emily suggested contacting key allies discreetly, while Ethan devised a plan to expose the rival company's sabotage. Mark, still uncertain, finally contributed a risky but potentially decisive idea. "If we pull this off, they won't see us coming," he whispered. Ethan nodded, determination hardening his features. Outside, rain began to tap against broken windows, a rhythmic backdrop to their plotting. Every decision felt monumental. The weight of past failures pressed heavily, but the spark of a comeback ignited between them. Hours passed, and the storm outside intensified. Ethan outlined the first phase of their plan: infiltration and data retrieval. Emily meticulously checked resources, her fingers tracing lists on the desk. Mark finally relaxed, a spark of confidence appearing. "We can actually do this," he admitted. The warehouse seemed to shrink around them as focus sharpened. Outside, lightning illuminated Ethan's determined face, reflecting off wet concrete. Each heartbeat echoed in the cavernous space. The team moved as one, blending fear and courage, aware that failure could destroy them all, yet ready to risk everything for redemption. The trio prepared to leave the warehouse, packing laptops, gadgets, and essential documents. Ethan's voice was firm. "Once we start, there's no turning back." Emily nodded, her hand briefly touching his arm in silent encouragement. Mark adjusted his jacket, tension still visible, but resolve strengthening. Outside, the storm raged, lightning splitting the sky. Each movement felt heavy with anticipation. Ethan's mind raced with contingencies, potential betrayals, and risks. Every step forward was a deliberate choice, and each choice brought them closer to either triumph or disaster. They stepped into the rain-soaked night, the city streets glistening with reflections of neon and traffic. Ethan led, eyes scanning every corner, calculating each risk. Emily kept close, her sharp instincts alert to the smallest anomaly. Mark followed, resolute, yet wary. The first mission phase began. Infiltration of the rival company's headquarters. Each heartbeat echoed in the storm's rhythm. Fear and determination intertwined. The night was theirs to navigate, full of peril and opportunity. And with every cautious step, the fragile thread of their plan carried the weight of hope, ambition, and survival. Ethan Caldwell crouched behind a rain-slicked barrier, scanning the rival headquarters from across the street. Emily Harper checked her smartwatch, timing their entry. Mark Jensen adjusted the small earpiece in his ear, listening for security chatter. The building loomed like a fortress, lights cutting through the storm. "We go in fast. Stay silent," Ethan whispered, voice barely audible over thunder. Each second stretched, tension tightening around their hearts. The mission had begun, and every step could expose them. Shadows shifted, neon reflected in puddles, and the night seemed to hold its breath with them. The trio slipped through a side entrance, shadows swallowing their movements. Inside, fluorescent lights hummed overhead, casting long reflections on polished floors. Ethan led silently, Emily scanning each hallway with precise caution. Mark followed, carrying small tech devices. Every corner posed risk, every sound amplified. They reached the server room, heartbeats synchronizing with the flickering lights. Ethan inserted a USB drive, fingers trembling slightly. Success felt within reach, yet danger lingered in every shadow. One mistake could unravel everything. The storm outside echoed their tension, a rhythmic reminder of the stakes. Alarms blared suddenly, red lights flashing. Ethan's heart raced as he grabbed Emily's arm. "Move now," he shouted. They darted through corridors, dodging security cameras and patrolling guards. Mark hacked a door, fingers flying over the keypad, sweat on his forehead. Their plan splintered into improvisation, yet instincts guided every movement. Explosions of sound echoed as guards shouted, footsteps chasing them. The trio's unity became their weapon, each relying on trust forged through months of preparation. Victory and peril danced dangerously close, every second stretching into eternity. Reaching the rooftop, drenched from rain, Ethan signaled a drone for extraction. Emily breathed heavily, clutching crucial data. Mark scanned below, spotting security forces converging. "We only get one shot," Ethan said, voice cutting through the storm. Lightning illuminated the cityscape, puddles reflecting neon. The helicopter hovered, rotors slicing the night air. With a synchronized sprint, they leaped onto the lift platform. Fear and exhilaration intertwined. For a moment, the world was suspended between triumph and catastrophe. The helicopter lifted off, rain spraying around them, city lights fading below. Ethan exhaled deeply, relief and triumph washing over him. Emily smiled faintly, exhaustion and satisfaction in her eyes. Mark finally allowed a laugh, tension melting momentarily. The mission was complete, the rival company's sabotage exposed, and their hard-fought redemption achieved. Thunder rumbled one last time, the storm a witness to their victory. They had risked everything, and in doing so discovered courage, loyalty, and the strength of trust. The night was theirs, victory illuminated in flashes of lightning and neon. Ethan Caldwell, Emily Harper, and Mark Jensen stood atop the city's observation tower, watching dawn slowly break. The storm had passed, leaving a sparkling city washed clean. Emily held the recovered data, reflecting on the risk and courage it had demanded. Mark, exhausted but smiling, stretched and looked at the horizon. Ethan's gaze softened, pride mixing with relief. The mission had changed them, leaving scars and stories. They shared a quiet moment of triumph, the calm after chaos, each realizing the value of trust, teamwork, and resilience in a world that never slowed down. They returned to the headquarters for debriefing. Ethan walked in first, shoulders squared, exuding quiet confidence. Emily followed, her notes and devices in hand, reviewing every detail meticulously. Mark trailed, adjusting his tech gear, eyes flicking over monitors displaying mission data. Supervisors nodded approvingly as the team presented their findings. Their success was tangible, yet the weight of responsibility lingered. They had not only completed the mission, but exposed the deeper conspiracy. Recognition, relief, and unspoken camaraderie filled the room, a momentary sanctuary from the dangers outside. Later, the trio visited a quiet cafe downtown, a rare moment of normalcy. Ethan sipped coffee, eyes scanning the bustling street outside. Emily laughed softly at a shared joke, the tension of months melting away. Mark fiddled with a small gadget, smiling absent-mindedly. Conversations around them blurred into background noise. For the first time since the mission began, they felt free. Each cup of coffee, each quiet breath was a reminder of life continuing beyond danger. They cherished these small victories, realizing that peace, however fleeting, was as meaningful as triumph. Returning home that evening, Ethan paused on his apartment balcony, watching the sun dip behind the skyline. Emily's voice came over the phone, checking in, playful yet caring. Mark's message pinged, teasing Ethan about his serious demeanor. The city lights flickered on one by one, mirroring the stars above. Reflection and gratitude filled Ethan's mind. He realized the mission's lessons extended beyond danger and triumph. They were about connection, courage, and living fully despite uncertainty. The night welcomed them with quiet reassurance, a promise that life would continue, richer for their shared experience. As night fully settled, the trio reunited at a small rooftop garden, a tradition after each mission. Laughter echoed between them, stories from the past weeks shared freely. Ethan raised a glass to surviving storms, literal and metaphorical. Emily smiled, clinking her glass, Mark joining with a grin. The city slept below, unaware of the battles waged above and beyond. Stars twinkled faintly, blending with neon lights. Victory had come, not through solitary effort, but through trust, teamwork, and courage. In that quiet rooftop haven, they savored life, knowing every challenge strengthened the bond between them. The storm had returned, fiercer than ever, battering the city with wind and rain. Ethan Caldwell, Emily Harper, and Mark Jensen rushed toward the heart of the crisis. Lightning split the sky as alarms blared across the control center. Emily clutched critical schematics while Mark coordinated evacuation protocols. Ethan's mind raced, balancing risk and strategy. Every second counted. The city's fate teetered on their decisions, but together, they moved with confidence and urgency, hearts pounding yet unyielding. Courage and skill would be their final shield. Inside the compromised control center, monitors flickered as systems failed one by one. Ethan ducked under falling debris, shielding Emily as she typed frantically. Mark recalibrated critical machinery, sweat dripping from his brow. Panic threatened, but their teamwork never wavered. Every choice, every movement had to be precise. Ethan issued commands while keeping calm. Emily's fingers flew over the keyboard, and Mark's hands moved with mechanical precision. Together, they orchestrated the city's salvation. The storm was relentless, but their resolve was stronger. The final countdown began. Ethan monitored energy levels, Emily executed the last override, and Mark stabilized the system under impossible pressure. The storm's roar outside was deafening. Seconds felt like hours. Sweat, fear, and determination mixed as each heartbeat became crucial. When Emily confirmed the override, Ethan exhaled sharply, signaling relief. Mark grinned, exhausted but triumphant. The city's power grid stabilized. Silence replaced chaos, and a sense of victory washed over them. Their courage had not only averted disaster, it had saved countless lives. Outside, the storm's rage began to subside. Ethan, Emily, and Mark stepped onto a rain-soaked street, watching the clouds part. City lights glimmered like stars reborn, casting reflections on puddles and debris. Citizens emerged cautiously, cheering as the trio's efforts became apparent. Exhausted yet elated, they shared a quiet moment, soaking in the calm after the storm. Their journey had pushed them to the brink, but it had also forged an unbreakable bond. Together they had faced chaos and emerged victorious. Hope flickered brightly in every corner. The trio reunited on the city's tallest bridge, watching the sunrise ignite the horizon. Ethan raised his hand, a silent acknowledgement of their journey. Emily laughed softly, recounting moments of tension with humor. Mark clapped Ethan on the shoulder, the three sharing a rare, unguarded moment. The city stretched endlessly beneath them, vibrant and alive. Their story, one of courage, sacrifice, and unwavering friendship, had reached its conclusion. Yet life continued beyond the mission. Together they had survived, learned, and grown, heroes not by title, but by action and heart. Months had passed since the storm had tested the city. Ethan Caldwell, Emily Harper, and Mark Jensen walked through a bustling park, observing children playing and families laughing. Memories of chaos lingered, yet the city thrived. The trio reflected on what they had endured, realizing their actions had left a permanent mark. They shared stories of mistakes, successes, and moments of fear, laughing and shaking their heads. Life had returned to normal, but their friendship, strengthened by trials, had become unbreakable. Hope had grown, nurtured by courage and resilience. In the city library, Emily Harper guided a group of young engineers through a technical workshop. Her passion ignited curiosity, and she reveled in mentoring others. Ethan Caldwell observed from the doorway, proud of her dedication. Mark Jensen, notebook in hand, sketched new plans for future city improvements. They had moved from crisis responders to community builders. The echoes of past challenges served as lessons, shaping their present. The trio's legacy was not in accolades, but in the positive influence they now shared, quietly inspiring a new generation. At the city's innovation hub, Ethan, Emily, and Mark collaborated on new energy solutions. Laughter punctuated focused discussion, and ideas flowed freely. The city that had once teetered on the edge now looked to them as visionaries. Each challenge they faced had refined their teamwork and sharpened their skills. Their shared experiences had transformed them into problem solvers, ready for any future crises. As monitors hummed with active simulations, they knew the city's resilience mirrored their own. Confidence, tempered with humility, had become their greatest strength. As evening descended, the trio stood atop a skyscraper terrace, gazing at the vibrant city below. Lights twinkled like stars, and the hum of life filled the air. They exchanged quiet words, acknowledging how far they had come. Every challenge had strengthened bonds, every victory had been hard-earned. Together, they had turned fear into courage, chaos into action. Their shared gaze lingered on the horizon, knowing that while storms might come again, they were ready. This city, their city, was alive, thriving, and resilient, much like them. Night fell, and the city glimmered under a starry sky. Ethan, Emily, and Mark parted ways, walking toward their respective homes, smiles lingering. Their journey had ended, but their impact endured. Every life they had touched carried the story of courage, teamwork, and hope. The city slept peacefully, unaware of the silent guardians who had preserved it. As lights dimmed, the trio's laughter echoed faintly, a testament to resilience and friendship. The story closed not with an ending, but with promise that heroism could be quiet, enduring, and deeply human. The city had changed, its skyline now dotted with sustainable buildings and green rooftops, reflecting a future shaped by courage and vision. Ethan Caldwell walked through the bustling streets, observing young innovators collaborating on tech projects. Emily Harper guided a group of students through a lab, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. Mark Jensen oversaw the construction of a smart energy grid, ensuring safety and efficiency. Memories of past struggles flashed in their minds, yet the weight of their responsibilities now felt lighter. Together, they had transformed fear into opportunity, leaving an indelible mark on every corner of the city. Every step they took reminded them of nights spent planning, racing against time, and the bonds forged in crisis. Their legacy was more than structures and policies. It was hope made tangible. And yet, as they moved forward, a subtle curiosity lingered about what new challenges tomorrow might bring. Inside a grand conference hall, Emily Harper addressed a captivated audience about renewable energy and urban sustainability. Ethan Caldwell leaned against a side pillar, pride shining in his expression as he watched her speak. Mark Jensen jotted meticulous notes for city planning initiatives. Their past battles, fraught with danger and uncertainty, had prepared them for this moment of influence and guidance. Students, city officials, and innovators hung on every word, inspired by the team's dedication and vision. Laughter occasionally punctuated Emily's presentation, recalling the lighter moments they shared amidst chaos. Each anecdote and example reminded the audience of the courage required to enact real change. As applause filled the hall, the trio shared a subtle, understanding glance, recognizing that leadership was as much about teaching as it was about acting. The room felt alive, charged with the energy of potential, yet grounded in the lessons of history and hard-earned experience. During the city's anniversary celebration, fireworks erupted in the night sky, casting vibrant reflections over glass towers. Ethan Caldwell and Mark Jensen stood near a crowd of cheering citizens, while Emily Harper held a child's hand, smiling at the spectacle. Their journey had been marked by peril, strategy, and sacrifice, yet here they were, witnessing a city thriving because of their choices. Conversations buzzed around them about future projects, new innovations, and community growth. Each laugh, cheer, and flash of light reminded them that true impact extended beyond immediate heroism into the lives of everyday people. As fireworks faded, a sense of calm and accomplishment enveloped the trio. They reflected silently, aware that challenges had forged resilience and unity among them. Though the night was temporary, the influence they had instilled in their city and its citizens promised to endure. This celebration, filled with warmth, pride, and shared memory, symbolized the bridge between past struggles and a hopeful future. At dawn in a serene park, Ethan Caldwell, Emily Harper, and Mark Jensen discussed strategies for continued urban growth. Soft sunlight filtered through the trees, illuminating pathways where morning joggers passed. Their dialogue balanced ambition and caution, exploring sustainable projects and citywide initiatives. Birds chirped, and a gentle breeze rustled leaves, creating an atmosphere of calm focus. The trio's experiences, from chaotic nights of emergency response to moments of quiet planning, had taught them the value of foresight and collaboration. Ideas flowed freely: green energy installations, community learning hubs, and resilient infrastructure designs. The city no longer depended solely on emergency heroes. It thrived under proactive planning. As they parted ways, they recognized that their influence would guide generations. The park, tranquil yet alive, mirrored the harmony they hoped to instill citywide, a testament to vision paired with action and enduring friendship. As sunlight rose higher, the trio walked toward different parts of the city, each carrying visions for the future. Ethan Caldwell moved toward urban planning offices, Emily Harper to a science education center, Mark Jensen to a construction oversight site. Their hearts were light, pride mingled with quiet satisfaction. Streets were alive with people starting their day, reflecting the city's prosperity and resilience. Memories of past dangers and victories stayed close, guiding decisions and tempering ambition. Though they parted physically, their bond remained strong, reinforced by shared experience and mutual respect. Their legacy was a living cityscape, functional, beautiful, and sustainable. The story of their journey hinted at new chapters, ready for the next generation inspired by their courage and vision. Hope was palpable, carried by the rising sun, promising continuity and a bright, evolving future.